This is a mini episode to talk a little about the story behind the book and what's been going on lately. The book is out Monday, October 15th, and although it should be one of the most exciting moments for me, I'm actually feeling really weird and I'm going through a bit of a tough time with it. But before I get to that, I want to thank you all. You've been so supportive, and I know I thank you in every episode, multiple times in fact, because I really am so worried you won't believe me when I say thank you. I mentioned in a book update episode a few months ago that I was going through some major imposter syndrome. My stomach has been in knots, and I went to make some promotional materials and I saw some typos in the rough draft that I'm afraid to check if they were fixed in the final draft. And on top of that, I've been saying for months that it all doesn't seem real. And even getting the box of advanced copies last week still didn't make it seem real for me. By the way, if you haven't seen the video for that, it's in the Story Behind discussion group on Facebook. But here's the honest truth. I'm actually a bit paralyzed from social media right now. I don't want to post anything, even though it's something I should be going into overdrive about. But you know when you're cooking, and by the time your food is done, you're just sick of all the ingredients? Like you've been exposed to them for too long? That's how I feel. About the book, about the podcast even. Posting the unboxing video, although I was genuinely excited and I loved making it, I still felt like the wind was knocked out of me once it was done and uploaded. And last week I was in a tough spot. I couldn't be on social media for more than 10 minutes at a time because of what was going on in the news. And on top of that, how is someone supposed to read about current events and then try to post something like, hey, in case you haven't seen my last 100 tweets, I wrote a book and I want you to buy it. Like, it's weird. And while I use things like smiley face emojis and exclamation points online, and I'm genuinely cheerful to be talking on the podcast and in interviews, in all honesty, I've been basically wrapping myself in a blanket burrito most afternoons because promotion is not something I'm comfortable with. I couldn't even get myself out of my funk long enough to write and record an episode last week. And I'm always sorry when I have to skip episodes, especially because of the Patreon supporters who I am so grateful for. And I would hate to have them feel like they're wasting their money. It really is appreciated, and it pays for the hosting of this podcast, plus a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff like equipment, cables, marketing materials, etc. So yeah, social media fatigue and imposter syndrome are some evil little monsters in my life right now. But it's all on me, and I hope to get out of this funk soon enough. Honestly, I kind of want the launch day to be over and done with because for a year, it's been this mythical date that I've been working toward, and it blows my mind that it's actually happening. Even though I have to keep telling myself that October 15th is just a date that my book happens to come out, and I'll be the same person I was on the day before, and hopefully the day after. Anyway, I'm babbling and kind of on a weird kick of nerves and the need to put everything out there, but please know that if you're listening to this right now, I am so grateful to have you as a part of the story behind. I think the best way to sum up this update is to read directly from the book's acknowledgments section. So here it goes. I would like to thank so many individuals for their support and encouragement, especially listeners and Patreon supporters of the Story Behind podcast who keep me podcasting week after week. I'm grateful to everyone who was part of the process of writing this book, especially those who saw me on social media when I should have been writing and cheered me on while also gently kicking me off. You guys helped me make my deadline. The staff of Mango Publishing, especially Brenda Knight, who helped fulfill my childhood dream of becoming a writer. My podcasting mentors, Jim Collison, Elsie Escobar, Jessica Kupferman, Dave Jackson, Stephen Jondrew, Daniel J. Lewis, Ray Ortega, Stargate Pioneer, Steve Stewart, and Rob Walsh, who gave me the motivation and know-how to get behind the microphone and explore my creativity and geeky side. My mastermind group who kept me accountable for getting this book done, Jason Bryant, John Buchanan, Mark DeCote, Wayne Henderson, Daryl Darnell, Dave Jackson, listed yet again, but always worth thanking multiple times, and Laura McClellan. My Philly Fort buddies who offered encouraging glasses of wine, coffee breaks, and mental health check-ins along the way, Josh Hallmark, Hannah Ostick, and Stephen Pappas. Landon and Ash Porter and the Gorillas who kept my imposter syndrome from constantly trying to sabotage me. But none of this would have been possible without my first and dearest friend I made in podcasting, epic film guy Nicholas Haskins, who got me back behind the mic to start the story behind. A note of thanks to friends and family who have always encouraged me as a writer and who put up with the random trivia I would spout out during awkward dinner party conversations before I had an outlet for that sort of stuff. I would also like to offer my everlasting gratitude to my husband, Mark Prokop. Not only was he the one who suggested the idea of starting a podcast in the first place, but he also let his geeky side and credit card take over when it came to equipping me with everything I needed. He also offered his IT services whenever something wasn't working and his copy editing skills in the final hour before this book was due. He is also an amazing father, and I'll never be able to match the number of diapers he has changed while he has gracefully allowed me to find my passion in podcasting and in writing this book. TLDR version, listeners and supporters of the story behind are awesome. Those who believed in me and cheered me on are some of the best people in the world. My husband is the Ben to my Leslie. Thanks for listening, and thanks for your encouragement.